Next is Helen Giza, the CEO of Fresenius Medical Care. Helen, do you want to come up? Hi again.
See you. Thank you.
Helen, as we've heard, you were born in Great Britain, more specifically in Wales. Mm-hmm. And one of your people told me in a town that people cannot pronounce in its original language. So please do it for us.
I was born in the Rhondda Valley in a small town called Ystrid that has a Y at the front.
Okay.
So.
Doesn't sound so difficult.
Not so bad. No.
You should work on that. You started out as an accountant.
I did.
Is that the foundation of all business?
You know, it's. I was in the finance track for a very long time in my career, but working with lots of great business people throughout my career. And the one thing I would say is finance is the international language that we all speak. And I think some of the greatest companies have a really strong non-finance financial strength. You know, if you're a commercial leader and you understand the finances, you're going to do much better as a commercial leader. So I think it's a common language that we all unite around. And now, that doesn't mean that all finance people are great business people. Business people can be great if they do finance.
We learned that during the financial crisis, that this might not be the case. After an MBA, you stayed in the US and you first worked for the automotive industry and then the health business or pharmaceutical business. What was so fascinating about pharmaceuticals that you left the fantastic automotive business?
Well, to be clear, I joined the automotive industry in the UK. I'm going to age myself here, but in the early 90s when there really wasn't an automotive industry in the UK, and it was automotive supply, and it was at the time where every car manufacturer was closing. But that grounding of like working in hardcore manufacturing is a big part of my DNA. Then I decided like the industry was over, and I actually joined a pharmaceutical company in the UK. That was Abbott at the time, and then moved from the UK to the US on what was supposed to be a 2-year international development assignment. So as we talk about talent, I think that's an important topic. That was 23 years ago. So I happened to come to the US and have been there ever since, but worked in global jobs the whole time I've been there.
And now, in the US mainly, I guess, for a German company. And you started out as CFO. And then you became something very interesting, Chief Transformation Officer.
In addition.
CTO can also be something else, but with you it was is that sort of, is a CFO kind of the best transformer then, or how did this come about?
Yeah, maybe why I make the comment that the best finance person isn't always the best business person. And I think, you know, I'd come out of a large pharmaceutical company that had acquired a $64 billion company, and I was the CFO there and tapped on the shoulder to lead an integration. And I'm like, I've never done anything like this before. And that transformation was big. It was putting two $30 billion companies together. But really, it was at the heart of, you need the right strategy, you need the right operating model, you need the right people, and you need to have the right cost structure. And I think for me, I was always more than just a finance person. I'd say I was a business person first and foremost. So that just natural leadership and skill set I had lended itself to that integration and divestiture job. And when I was recruited for FMC as CFO, I was brought in not just as for my finance capabilities, but I was actually brought in for my global experience and my transformation experience. So when FMC hit its own speed bumps, it was important that we needed to transform. And at the time, with the CEO, we went to the board and I said, we need to do something different. And the board was like, well, yes, and you need to do it. And I'm like, but I already have a full-time job, but you can do that on top. So it actually went hand in hand, but it was two jobs. But at the same time, it was such an important part of the future strategy of the company.
Two Helens for the price of one. But
indeed, and a German one at that.
Your company has a very specific focus on dialysis and kidney sicknesses.
Yeah.
And you have also about more than 100,000 employees.
Yeah, 130,000.
Right? And clinics all over the world, but mainly in America, correct?
Yeah, we are the leading kidney care company. we invented the artificial kidney, which is the dialysis machine in Germany, I would add. We're in 150 countries, 130,000 employees, but 70% of my business is in the US. I have around 3,500 clinics, of which 2,700 of them are in the US. So I'm a little bit of a unicorn. I'm a Brit running a German company, living and running a big US business as well. So the global platform that we're all operating in is real. We touched on it earlier.
So with this strong market position, how was Fresenius Medical Care be able to kind of go the wrong way and get into this crisis? It was, after all, called still in 2023 when you had to leave the DAX, the major German.
But we're back.
Well, I know. We're going to come to that. You were called the problem child of Fresenius. How did it come to that?
Yeah, look, the company was the leading company and had a playbook, and the same playbook for many years. And maybe like many companies in the world, it's successful until it's not. And I think the lack of a strategy in a company and the lack of being able to see trends in the future and where the puck is going and not being able to adapt when things slow down, candidly, was the demise of the company. When I came in at the end of 2019, I inherited profit warning after profit warning from 2017, 2018, 2019. And then the pandemic hit. And for those of you that don't know my business or my patient population, they're one of the sickest, most vulnerable patient populations in the world. I mean, when you're on end-stage renal disease, you have six years left to live, tops. COVID decimated our business. I mean, we lost 25,000 patients during the peak of the pandemic. So you add a lack of strategy, clear lack of financial performance, and a pandemic, and the company imploded. And that's what I inherited.
And then you said in the style of the Terminator, I'll be back.
I'll be back, yeah. I'm a woman of my word.
I don't know whether you used an Austrian accent at that moment.
I did not. And I hope I don't look like Arnold Schwarzenegger either.
Not in the least, and we're very happy about that. The DAX got you back then very quickly. And this fall, the stock price really surged. So
yeah, look,
how did you do it?
It's about having the right operating model, the right strategy for the company, the right people in place, and a very clear plan. And I've just completed 2 years of that 3-year plan, and we haven't deviated. We've stayed focused. We've had it in priority. I've changed out the leadership team. I've reinforced accountability. People needed to be accountable for what they needed to deliver. And yeah, I've delivered a 50% stock price increase over the last 2 years. And we're slowly but surely rebuilding that credibility and financial performance. We are the market leader. We do innovate. We continue to need to have that investment in innovation to keep improving patients' lives and outcomes. And I feel very privileged of what we do. But our financial performance obviously needs to catch up accordingly.
You once quoted your dad, who told you, when you work hard, the rest will come.
Yeah.
Can we also say that about Germany?
Oh, putting my dad and that in the same
Is hard work what we need, or is there something else?
My dad's comment was, work hard and the rest will take care of itself. But working hard isn't always working smart. And I do think you have to have a combination of working hard on the right things. If you're working hard and you're going off in the wrong direction, or you don't have a strategy, forget it. So while those words from my dad really resonated with me, and I think sometimes as a leader, we're not always the best advocates for ourselves, I think you have to work smart, and you have to be focused on driving the right results.
It's always good to hear from people who are relatively new to a problem, i.e. to Germany, which you are. Where do you see the major difference to the business place in the United States? And in terms of your industry, what would the doctor order?
Yeah, look, it's not lost on me that I'm in many ways, a European medtech company and a US service company. I mean, that's my two, 300-pound gorillas, if you will. But it's also not lost on me that German engineers created and invented this technology that truly other than transplant, there's no alternative for dialysis. This is decades old. Nothing has been better than it yet. So look, I think for Germany, it has to continue to be entrepreneurial, innovative, speed, and the regulations have to help us, not hold us back. And I think...
Can you give us an example of what smart versus dumb regulation would mean in your business? Smart versus dumb regulation.
Well, I look at the regulation. Obviously, healthcare is a very, very regulated industry, as it should be. We've got patient safety and quality at stake. But I look around the number of legislative actions, whether it, kind of around the different policies across Europe. As an example, in the last 5 years in Europe, over 11,000 have impacted our business. In the US, 3,500. In the US, I have the FDA that will accelerate innovation. We just got our machine approved in the US. So things like that where it's speed. And why would you not get out of the way on innovation? And why are we doing things to slow us down? We have I have great people, a lot of great ideas in Germany. I really do. And yet the speed of which we can get things done, that's probably the biggest challenge.
So this is the political part. Mm-hmm. How do the corporate cultures compare?
Speed.
Again.
Yeah,
we're a little slow in Germany.
Yeah. I think Germany, and maybe I'm saying this as a Brit, so everybody in the room should excuse me, but I think Germany known for German excellence, German engineering. But my gosh, perfection can be the enemy of good. And a lot of what I do is like, okay, is it good enough? Do we have decision-grade analytics? Like, I don't want you to spend another 3 months giving me a perfect answer. Do you have decision-grade analytics that give us enough to make the right decision that we can move at speed? I can't run a turnaround and a transformation and the next chapter of the company when I'm waiting for somebody in a German corporate office to take 3 months to give me something that I already have a gut for what the answer is. So I do think, that comment about, perfection can be the enemy of good is something ingrained in, almost like the fear of failing is also ingrained in what I see in our employees. So while there's a lot of good there, I think, I'd still summarize that speed matters.
You did add into your product predictive analytics lately. To be more able to predict whether a person is going to suffer under dialysis or not, and so on. Mm-hmm. Is this a German invention and innovation?
No. Sorry.
I was hoping for that.
No, we have an amazing renal research institute in the United States, and I have data on 500,000 people that really shows me like the prediction of what the development of dialysis is going to be, and then we can personalize, even though dialysis is literally, and I don't mean to dumb it down, literally taking the blood out of your body, washing it of impurities and putting it back in. But everyone has a slightly different prescription on how much liquid they need, how long they need to be on therapy within parameters. So predictive analytics is really helping us personalize that for a better outcome for patients.
Helen, I think you should definitely join Oliver in talking to the German public and political sphere.
Indeed.
Tell us how you look at Germany. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you all.